am so sorry for everything that has happened. I insisted that we weren't lost. And it's all because of me that we're here now. Hungry and cold and hunted.
Something is amongst us here in the mountains. It is far greater than we could have ever imagined.
You believe the occult may be involved in the disappearance of your son?
That cold ain't the weather. That's death approaching.
Hey, welcome to Movies to Lose Friends By.
What the fuck was that, man?
That was just a trailer that I was trying to put together for something to start shows with, because all I had was those pictures every single time. So I played around and I tried to make this like little movie trailer.
There's something wrong with you, dude.
Well, it was supposed to be like a little horror theme, just a Yeti, and
We're trying to get people into the stream, into the chat. People are like traumatized.
Well, I had to find the music, and I
Yeah.
built everything around that.
Yeah.
And so just with the way that the music was going, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this seems kind of horror. So that's where I went.
Hey, I'm glad you're having fun.
I'm going to try to... Oh, sorry.
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm going to try and do, a couple lighter ones later, because it was fun to make.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, it looks like the people in the chat thought it was kind of fun, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just supposed to be a little fun. But yeah, just before we start to kick things off, I just want to mention that I have a whole bunch of new designs for my Teespring store. I put a bunch up yesterday. I think some are very, very cool. I've got here.
Yeah, she should share the screen.
It got some of these.
People should seriously stop expecting normal from me. We all know it's never going to happen.
Oh, sorry, you were reading.
No, it's all right. I was just reading it. It's all right. It's all right. And then what's the other one? It's not a dad bod. It's a check yourself before you wreck yourself. Oh, they get better and better. These are good. Okay.
Hey,
ooh, I like that one. Okay, for the chicas.
Yeah. Well, all of these both come in men's and women's, but I decided to put up women design because all the others were, guy t-shirts.
Yeah, I'm looking at your page right now. Cool. I love it.
And yeah, the link is in the chat. And then we also have the tip link because not monetized. So at the very top, there's the link for basically the super chats or to tip. And yeah, that's a way to keep the lights on over here.
Great, man. People in the chat, thank you for being here. Grab the link, share it. If you're on Twitter, we have tweeted and retweeted. So retweet the retweet to tweet.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
And with that, let's bring in our guest of the day.
Take
The
two.
one. Sorry?
Take two.
Yeah. The one and only Sno Dub.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining.
Oh, are we on? We're live?
Yeah. Hail, Sno Dub.
Hail, brothers. How's it going? Good to be here. Good to be here, finally. Supposed to be here last week. I was in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah. What happened? What happened last week?
Oh, man, that stupid El Perro. He brought over his Antifa buddies. They got all crazy. They kicked a bunch of holes in the wall, and they ended up hitting the phone line and shut our whole system down, man. It was terrible. So that's the kind of craziness that goes on over here in the Cotton Connection and the House of Sno Dub. But it only seems fitting that Sno Dub, the snowman logo and all that, kicking it with the Yeti, abominable snowman type of thing. So there's a connection here already. I love it. And hell.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah. Cotton Connection, Tuck and Roll. It's all about Sno Dub. I love Sno Dub. And his local friends.
Congratulations, Polly, on your monetization, by the way. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
That was a good party. You came to the party the other night. That was
that's part of the cool kids.
At one point, where were you? Who were you interviewing? I forgot. At one point, you had one. It was a Purple Valkyrie on one side and someone on the other side. That was a lot of fun, man. So thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. I smoked and drank a lot that night, so it's a little cloudy. But it was a good time.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks, man.
Yeah, no, it's great.
So what do we got, Yeti?
Yes. Well, just because we were getting you here, we figured we would start with one of the movies, the Happytime Murders. Oh, okay. So this movie, for anyone that is unfamiliar, is basically in a world with Muppets or puppets. What's the PC term for your people?
People of stuffing, maybe, or people of cotton. Yeah, people of cotton.
Yeah,
okay,
Cotton Connection. which is a major theme in this movie.
Yes. It was a little graphic at times. The whole silly string, shooting everywhere. It happens, folks. It does happen. Just saying.
Was it a little triggering seeing some of those moments in this show?
I hate to say it, but there was some resemblance, man. Occasionally, it was like looking in the mirror, depending on the scene that you're talking about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like were you under the pier at one point? Were you a sugar sniffer?
No, I wasn't getting into the sugar so much as I was maybe a little more of a womanizer, I guess, back in my day.
Nice.
I've calmed down a little bit now, though.
Nice. Yeah. Well, the story of the Happytime Murders, I guess Phil Phillips and Melissa McCarthy's character were partners on the force, and his brother was part of a team of entertainers that had their own TV show, and so now these puppets one by one are being killed off,
right?
And these two reunite to find the killer. Yeah, that's the basic story. Yeah,
pretty much.
Pretty much.
It takes a lot of weird turns. It's very I guess R-rated. It's not like the Muppets. There's a lot more adult humor, a lot of sex jokes and puppet sex. And
well, that's okay. We got to have our fun too, guys.
Yeah.
Right. Can't be, little kid stories all the time. Jeez.
Yeah, I actually laughed more than I thought I would.
Right.
It actually wasn't that bad of a film. It was long. I kept like every 15 minutes. I'm like, damn, is this? I got another hour left.
It gets played out. That's for sure. There's certain times where the jokes stick, and then after that, it's like, okay, let's move on. The joke's not funny anymore, but they keep going
Yeah.
back to it. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought the puppet pleasure place was hilarious. And then when she was beating up those homies, that was pretty funny. Yeah, there were some funny moments.
Yeah.
Like making it rain with carrot sticks for rabbit puppets. That
Yeah.
gave me a laugh.
God. Let me put a little context here behind the scenes of this movie. Okay, so Jim Henson, as you know, was very devout Christian, very hardcore, religious. And so he wouldn't do hard, edgy stuff like this with his movies. His movies were always family friendly.
Hmm.
But this movie was taken over by his son, Brian Henson, with the Brian Henson, part of the
Right.
company now, which is not connected to Disney, by the way. So that's why these puppets were able to do what they were able to do,
Thank
and
God.
Disney wasn't, landing a lawsuit on them, right?
Hmm.
Brian Henson did the Muppet Christmas Carol,
Hmm.
which I love that movie. And he's been involved with quite a few Muppet projects throughout the years, and this was kind of a risque thing for him to do. I like his edginess. I like how he wanted to be edgy and bring something new. I love that about this movie. I just hate the story. It's just so boring. It's the most boring story ever. It's like, oh, here we go on a detective case. This whole storyline has been done in a million movies, and this one's just with puppets.
Yeah. That was probably one of the biggest flaws. Just that there wasn't that much interesting details going on. There's a few good jokes, and I'm not sure if I ended up liking it more because I've seen so many bad movies lately.
Right.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if my entire way of rating or enjoyment is now just permanently skewed, because there were some enjoyable parts,
Yeah.
just some ridiculous scenes. Like Melissa McCarthy's character ends up having her liver replaced by a puppet liver, and so that allows her to do puppet drugs.
Oh God.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's. I really wanted to like this film because I thought it was gonna be more like a period, like like detective, like Sam Spade style, because they had that flavor, especially with what's her name, Maya Rudolph's character as a secretary. That was cute, but that was it was long and boring. It was just boring.
Yeah, it's a 30-minute sketch that was dragged out way too long. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
yeah,
And
yeah. If it was shorter. Sorry, go ahead, Paulie.
The thing with this film is that they promoted it heavily, Sno Dub, when it came out.
Right. I remember.
I had a friend who was part of this, like kind of like their job was to they still do it. They do kind of like interactive premiere parties. So they reenacted with all the main characters and all the main puppets at a bar in Hollywood, and you went through different rooms. There was the sugar room, there was the bar, and you got to interact with all the puppets. It was awesome. Like, to me, that was a lot more. And they even had the whole stripper section, like, with the dancers, and it was almost like walking through like a interactive haunted mansion, but it was all the puppets of these characters. So they were really pushing it, like.
Yeah.
And it was like a line down the street. It was a lot of fun. This was in Hollywood,
Right. Yeah, well, puppets can be great. They can be very entertaining. Hell, they can even get monetized. I'm living proof of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, I know. But it's like if you got the right kind of jokes to bring to a show that can keep your audience's attention long enough, it's going to be good. But this one's so played out. Okay, so for instance, the Muppet shows, they were only 30 minutes, and they bring on a couple guest stars or one guest star, do a few skits, boom, it's over. You love
Yeah.
it. You can't wait for more. I try to do quicker shows. It's not too often I go past 2 hours. Usually it's about an hour, and I wrap it up.
Mhm.
Puppets, they're kind of a, and I'm talking in a fourth person. How do you? I feel like I'm talking through myself here, the puppet here.
Mhm. Mhm.
But puppets are only so funny for so long. You can only do it for so long before it's just like, okay, let's move on to something else. And this movie is a hard example of that, where towards the end, I really couldn't stand the what's his name, the detective guy. His voice was
Phil Phillips?
annoying. Phillips, yeah, his voice was just annoying, and I couldn't wait for him to die. It was just like, oh God, when's this going to end? And especially with McCarthy, she's just not funny at all.
Well, she's funnier in this movie than the next.
I guess.
Jesus.
Yeah. She had to lean on the puppets to be funny. They
Yeah.
were like a crutch.
Yeah. I think there was a couple of jokes where she reminded me of her old funny self, but that was about it. I think this is another production with her husband, right?
Yeah.
As well.
Of course.
Yeah.
They're always with her husband.
Every one of them. Yeah. The next
Yeah.
one we talk about is going to be with her husband again, I believe.
Well, he wrote and directed the next one, right?
Right. Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, fuck. But once again, I love Brian Henson. I love how he wanted to be edgy. I love that it was R-rated. And I actually remember that, Paulie, when the trailers came out, I was pumped. They played the trailers well. They played the best parts of the movie.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Right.
So it made you want to go see it, but God, what a mess. What a hot mess. Yeah. Chop it down about 30 minutes and it'd be amazing. It would.
Now, is that the only flaw, or would they have to make some more adjustments so that it fits a little bit better? Because I could buy into some of the world. There was some cool things in that aspect. You've got the Muppet gangs and there was Muppet homeless people. Like, It was just, it was really.
Yeah, the funny part of the addiction thing of it is a great joke and a great gag. But it needed more, it really did need more star power. You needed some bigger names, maybe even just for cameos. That was what was great about the old Jim Henson movies. He always brought in a couple big hot stars just for a quick, little skit inside the movie. Like Steve Martin played a waiter. He brought in Brooke Shields for a quick shot.
Right.
In Muppets Take Manhattan. So, that's better to do something like that to keep your audience engaged. Like, ooh, who might show up next that I know? You can't just lean on the puppets through the whole way through. And she used the puppets as a crutch. And, I think McCarthy violated some puppets. I think they got a possible lawsuit going on there.
Well, speaking of lawsuit, let's see that the Sesame Workshop did file one against this production company, and in particular, the trademark tagline "No Sesame, All Street." And maybe that's another reason why, because it was maybe more adult comedy, that certain name big stars didn't come on for cameos.
True.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's hard to say.
But what's kind of cool is that it said here subsequent television spots for the film made references to the lawsuit in the ads from the studio that was sued by Sesame Street. I mean, that
ouch.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was their tagline. That all street, no sesame.
Yeah, that was.
I forgot about that.
And apparently it was nominated for various Golden Raspberry Awards, and Melissa McCarthy won for Worst Actress of that.
Hell yeah. Called it. I called it.
And it won Worst Film of the Year from the Houston Film Critics Society. So.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Worst one. Okay. This was 2018. what else came out in 2018? Because I wouldn't have called this the worst one
of that year.
Like that would have to be. There's got to be worse that came out.
I mean, technically, The Last Jedi came out December 2017. So,
so close.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Well, when did Solo come out? Solo came out. Solo came out early 2019. Yeah,
19. Yep.
Yeah. Shitty movies.
We've had a lot of them lately, so it's hard to. You got to pick and choose through the shit to find a shiny turd.
Oh, Gotti came out during that year.
Oh well, let me see what year. Let me see what won that year over.
Wasn't it the fish movie? Peter was it? Not Peter.
Holmes and Watson won with Will Ferrell and Adam McKay. That looks so horrible. I didn't even see it.
No.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, people were walking out of the screenings. When they were first testing it, so they really buried that movie.
So Gotti, Happytime, Robin Hood, and Winchester were also nominated.
Wow.
But Holmes and Watson really took a lot of major awards that year. Major awards. Major raspberries. Shit.
Nice.
Yeah. It's so funny when John C. Reilly takes a worst supporting actor. He's so amazing.
Okay,
I know that
Infinity War was that year. That was the big movie that year, Infinity War.
Yeah, that little indie flick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Melissa McCarthy, man.
She's terrible.
She's like going hard downhill. When she first came onto the scene, she had a couple decent movies.
Right.
Okay, Spy is one of them that I really enjoyed. Like, I've watched that multiple times. I think the writing is good. There's a solid story and jokes, and Jason Statham as kind of the badass. But it set a good tone, and that was also I believe that was done by the husband as well.
Well,
I believe that was his big hit, wasn't it? Like, that was his big hit, and he's just been trying to catch himself ever since. That's how I kind of seen it going down. They just progressively been getting worse ever since that movie.
They have, and getting worse at an astonishing rate.
Right.
I mean, from what I hear, she was great in Mike and Molly, which I never saw. And she actually, Bridesmaids, of course. And I liked Heat. I thought Heat was a lot of fun. The Heat with Sandy Bullock. That was probably like the height of her, they called her box office gold. It grossed 229 million worldwide. The Heat. I thought that movie was hilarious when I first saw it.
Oh, and Tim Tringle says no, that was Feig, or however you say his name.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't Falcone. Yeah, Ben Falcone is her husband, and he's a funny dude. He was in Bridesmaids. He's a funny guy. But
I think I was so tainted by Ghostbusters that I just can't find her funny anymore. Like, her humor.
She was in Ghostbusters?
Yeah, she was.
Oh. I didn't see it. I will never see that film.
Oh my God. It was traumatizing. I have a son, that's young, that loves the original Ghostbusters. So unfortunately he wanted to see it. And oh my God. Anyway. Terrible.
Yeah. But they probably got a nice, production deal, her and her husband, and they've been putting out this stuff here. What are you gonna do?
Garbage. Just keep calling Netflix, I guess. Hey, here's another one for you. Here's some more trash. I just can't stand how they disrespected the puppets. I wish Brian Henson would get another shot at this. Something with a better story and a better actor or actors or actresses that are more adept to role playing and doing interaction with characters that are not really theirs. Maybe somebody with some experience in that. Because puppets is a different kind of game. It's not the same as just your average drama, hanging out with a couple other actresses sipping tea. You got to get into this. You got to make people believe the puppets are real, and not focus on the fact of how terrible your damn movie is. Disrespectful.
Yeah. No, you're right. And thinking about it, it's like it almost should have been three, like a 30-minute bit, and then you do maybe one or two other different genre bits with the Muppets, and it's like kind of like and it's different stories where it's like, is it this one drawn out story with kind of just with the same stupid ass jokes, it just keeps repeating itself.
Well, and they didn't build a world to try and give this movie a big push. The thing with Jim Henson is he had an array of TV shows and appearances behind him before he ever even started making the movies. So Kermit, when he steps on the scene, playing whatever Kermit's role is, already has that background that people know about. This one didn't have a background, and they just kind of jump right into it. Here's Puppet Land.
Yeah.
Everybody's, all the puppets are messed up. They're on this, yayo. And they dive right into it and start killing puppets. And it's like, well, wait a minute, and you start having questions in your head, and you get distracted from the story that already sucks. And then once in a while you get distracted with a good joke or two. That's the whole basis of the movie. McCarthy's so plain and drab. She looks like she doesn't even really want to be there. Like she looks like she's sitting there in her head thinking, my God, my career has put me down to a point of where I'm talking to some felt. That's what it looks like it's going through her head. She's not into it. Not at all.
She can obviously act, Can You Ever Forgive Me? I forget, was that the one or where she got nominated for an Academy Award? She's so I think when you touch that flame, and then you're like, all right, I got to go do this happy right. Instead of like really investing in it, you kind of slumming
Puppet lives matter, people. Puppet lives matter.
What the hell? Absolutely.
You don't disrespect the puppets. No.
It's out of control. Between what Disney is doing to the Muppets and now this garbage, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. We need a little more respect. We need some good roles. Throw some good drama. I could play Abraham Lincoln. Throw it at me. I'll give it a shot.
Nice.
4 scores and 7 years ago. And I could throw me a top hat. I got this.
Okay.
All right.
That 70s rock fan says, I wouldn't mind being a puppet, but the constant fisting would be a problem.
Whoa. Oh man.
Stock up on your Vaseline.
Don't disrespect our guests, that 70s.
We don't really like to talk about that. That's a little bit personal.
That one took me off guard.
Let me take responsibility for that 70s. I take responsibility.
It's okay. I've heard worse.
Right. Yeah. Of course, man. Of course.
Yeah. Is there any way that this could have been saved? Aside from just making it shorter, was there more that?
Yes, a better actress or actor, I think, would have been a huge difference.
Well, yeah, because it was shot nicely. It looked great.
Let me give you for instance. Pull Melissa McCarthy out. Put in Jim Carrey. Better movie.
Yeah. Jim Carrey back in Ace Ventura days.
Or is Sonic the Hedgehog?
He's still good.
He was not bad in Sonic. Man.
Oh no, he's still good. But I mean,
he's got it.
Then he just had this. I don't know. He was a little bit more wild and free. Like he's a bit more restrained now, if that makes sense, right?
Well, that was the 90s too, because it was like could do more crazier shit.
Yeah, or put in Chris Farley, put in John Candy, put in some of these other bigger legends that came through the door. You would get a totally different interaction between the puppet and the main star.
Well, like Chris Rock.
Yeah, Chris Rock would be a good one.
Yeah, because they really commit, right?
Dave Chappelle would be.
Oh my God, Dave, that would be awesome.
You know?
Oh, okay. Do you think this was inspired by his skits? Because Dave Chappelle did a bunch of skits with
Yes.
puppets.
Sure. That was
Ah,
probably your first view of something like that, I think, that I know of.
I didn't even think about that until you
Hardcore.
mentioned him.
mhm,
Yeah.
There's,
Very
because there
funny.
was the whole drug thing, and
mhm,
that's taken straight out of Dave Chappelle.
Yep.
mhm,
They had Snoop Dogg actually doing one of the puppets I remember in that skit, or the voice of one of them. So
mhm.
you already had bigger star names in Dave Chappelle's little skits with the puppets and voicing some of the puppets than you did in this movie. This movie is just so drab. It leaned on the star power of McCarthy. Really?
Right.
Yeah, right away you're shooting yourself in the foot. Now you got to
Mm.
depend on a star puppet to steal the show because you already know McCarthy ain't gonna do it.
Well, I'm
Well,
looking at the
she didn't commit.
writer.
Oh,
Yeah,
go
I'm
ahead,
looking at
Polly.
the writer to see what he's written in the past, and Teenage Wasteland, The Smurfs, The Legend of Smurfy Hollow, TV movie, Kung Fu Panda,
Eh,
video short. You know,
Panda's okay.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and now he's filming Lucky and Cold Warriors. So even crappy writers still get more work.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'll bring that up so everybody can see what he's done for writing.
So
Mm,
sad. It's just sad, guys, because puppets
mhm,
really do need a better shake at it. The Muppets movie, Disney, they came back with a new Muppets movie
mhm,
back in, I think it was 2012, and it did really well. It actually got an Academy Award for Best Song that year.
mm,
Was thought of as like the Muppets' big comeback movie. Then they followed it up with some writing garbage with Muppets Most Wanted, and it hit the toilet again. It's just like, man, would you guys just keep, when they give the Muppets respect and puppets respect, give them good stories, good actors, and a good context, they do well. They do really well. But if you throw garbage at them and just hope the puppets are going to make people laugh enough to talk about it, you can't just depend on that. Take it from me. It ain't all about just the puppets. You got to have great guests with you that can improvise with you and, have fun and keep people engaged and make them want to come back and watch some more. You don't want people at the end of the movie be like, God, that was so bad. Now I really hate puppets.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, like speaking of bad, why don't we move on to the next movie? Because
Goes
oh,
worse, bad to worse.
oh yes, this one hurt. The Thunder Force. Holy
Oh,
crap.
my God.
This is a movie where I truly think I would end up losing friends. I don't expect
Mhm.
Sno Dub to ever talk to me again after having to watch and sit through this entire thing.
I almost sent you a tweet about 15 minutes before the show saying, screw you, I ain't coming on just because of this movie.
Yeah.
I could respect that. I would not have held that against you because, let's be honest.
I lost 90 minutes of my life today. Thank you very much.
Yeah. This was
Oh,
a rough movie from beginning to end, and I honestly don't think there's any redeeming factor in the entire thing.
The only bit that I chuckled at was in their uniforms are trying to get in and out of that car. That was that was like 5 seconds where I chuckled.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Are they really pretending to struggle to get in? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, and it's like,
oh.
Then
Then
but
she's doing backflips on the top of the car. I just. Okay,
Well,
so go ahead,
go
guys.
ahead.
Sorry.
No, please go ahead.
Okay, so I found myself actually zoning in and out of this movie in dazes of oh my God, I can't believe I'm staring at this. And I'd find myself wandering. But I did appreciate Jason Bateman at least trying to be funny, I guess, kind of. If I'm going to find any plausibility or possibility of something good in this movie. But his crab arms were just ridiculous. Oh god, the girl with the zapper power was ridiculous. The whole friendship dynamic was ridiculous. You know, they had their little prologue in the beginning where they're friends, and then it's the same story of two people that started out friends as children, didn't get along, and then come back together again later on under amazing circumstances and end up having to save the day type of storyline. And the chemistry wasn't there between them. The jokes were flat, and the whole superpowered Melissa McCarthy part of it was so unbelievable. And we've seen this story I don't know how many times with like Hancock. Was kept coming into my mind as I was watching this. Like, I already kind of saw this joke with Hancock, and you know, especially with her at the end, you know, jumping out the window to grab the bomb, you know, to hold it before it blows up type of thing. And we've seen this so many times, and this movie's 20, 30 years too late. That's what kept coming into my mind, is like, where was this 20 years ago? Even then it wouldn't have been funny, but at least maybe it would have been more relevant. I don't know.
The biggest thing it struggles with is, you know, the script, because they don't, I don't know. The writing is very poor, and the jokes are, well, they're lame. There is so little, I don't know, thought put into them. It's basically one giant fart joke, you know?
I mean, this is the reason why people hate you, Hollywood.
Yeah.
This is why, you know, people hate Hollywood. You know, this is garbage, you know, a complete waste of you know, I'm glad, you know what? I'm happy they hired people that worked the sets and behind the scenes and did this, you know. I'm happy people got work.
Right. Yeah, sure.
But this was just,
I don't know.
This is DOA, man. This is just garbage from the moment it started.
It looks like McCarthy asked if she could get put in some strings and get flipped around on a movie, like she wanted to do it. Like, oh, you know, I really want to do in my career is be a superhero. Let's do one of those movies. Like, I really want to do these stunts and get put in strings in front of green screens and flipped around, and you know, it looks so fake, unbelievably fake. It just the fact that she's overweight is part of the joke. I get it, Thunder Force, whatever, but it just doesn't land, man. It's just not funny.
No.
Yeah, I mean these you know, and I don't want to go after anyone's physical, you know, appearance, you know.
No, of course not.
But you know, these two leads can barely walk.
Right. In leather suits.
In these leather suits, and then you know, and
I kind of laughed, I guess, when she said the suit smelled. That I remember, I was like, okay, that's a good joke.
It's a bit, it's a good joke.
Yeah. Okay. So you know, there was a couple spots where I was like,
that had to do with the suits, like superhero suits. Jokes on that. That was like the one, those you know, a couple of good jokes out of how long this movie was. You know,
10 years, something.
But then the storyline is just like, okay, so Octavia Spencer's character gives up a friendship so she can, like, you know, be the best, and, you know, be the best scientist or whatever.
Right.
And
you're holding me back.
You're holding me back, and yet, you know, they're like totally great friends.
Right.
Anyone that's smart enough can, like, help Melissa McCarthy out as a teenager instead of, like, totally, you know. And but then it never says, well, you're the one who got pregnant, you know, you had a kid. How'd you have a kid while you were conquering the world? You know, like, there was this, none of this shit made sense. And then the bad guys were, you know, a waste in talent.
So terrible. I
I
know.
love Jason Bateman and I love Bobby
Yeah,
Cannavale.
he
God,
tried. He tried.
they
That's all I
tried
can
so
say.
hard to make their shit funny, man. And
What a waste.
it was just so weird because Bateman's character, I guess he's got radioactive. He
Crab
got
arm.
he got bit in the nuts by a radioactive
crab.
So he grows crab arms. I mean, this is what we're dealing with, guys.
It's an obvious smite at Spider-Man, but it's not funny. It's not funny at all.
On his honeymoon too. It was on his honeymoon, so his new wife, left him after he was bit in the balls by a radioactive crab while scuba diving.
Yeah, and big surprise, all the men are, asshole and idiots, and all the women are, the heroes. So yeah.
Well, you can't see.
It was a waste. It's and what were they doing holding up a liquor store to begin with?
I don't know.
What kind of gang was this? Is it a political gang? Because
they just had to have random altercations. I think that the storyline's so convoluted that they just had to throw these random wacky instances together to try and keep it progressing forward. That's why I kept zoning out. I just had to. I'd find moments where I was looking at my phone and looking back at the TV, like, "Oh, that's what they're doing now. Cool."
That's exactly what happened. God. I actually fell asleep and would wake up like, "Oh, I didn't miss shit." Okay. Okay. All right. Good. All right. And it's like I didn't miss a thing.
Yeah, while you get my attention again, she. Okay, so the scene where she's trying to use her superpowers and invisible one. What's her name?
Octavia Spencer.
Yes, she does the whole zapper thing to the guy's neck, and they're screaming at each other. That was like a moment there where I was like, oh, that could have been funny, if it would have been more of a surprise, but it's just, I don't know. There's so many, every time I look at these superhero spin-off, rip-off things nowadays, it's like, haven't you guys learned yet with, Hancock? And I think there was even a superhero movie, like a scary movie spin-off thing with Liam Neeson that was slapstick. If I remember right, there was. If you look at, I bet you money to dollar there was a superhero movie, literal slapstick, make fun of movie, kind of like Scary Movie was to Scream. So this has been done 1,000 times already, and it's just 30 years too late, guys. Once again, McCarthy puking out another one. What is she just phoning it in for paychecks at this point? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I'm actually wondering that myself, because I can't tell if they actually believe they're making something good or if they're just teaming up just to get paid.
Or original. Just original. I mean, everything in it was like it's same old jokes I've seen 30 times. It's same old storyline I've seen it 30 times. There was just nothing new to this. It was just blah.
Okay, so the one thing I think we kind of missed over is when they set this up, there are some people that have powers. We're never really told why, or if we are, I was not paying enough attention because I was hating every moment.
That's the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a stupid asteroid, right?
I honestly don't even remember. Like
everything's with an asteroid. Here's the plot is oh God, you're right. It's so stupid. I already forgot about it.
Superhero movie. Yeah, see? Yep. I knew it.
Because not everybody has it. Octavia Spencer, she wants to go and conquer the world and create some pill or method of getting superpowers, and she ends up developing it. And Melissa McCarthy is basically a deadbeat and is told to wait in this room. She sits down. She thinks it's some sort of massage chair, sits down and
Right.
it starts jabbing her with needles. And like
Yeah.
that's how it
Wraps the head
triggers
thing
the
on her and all that.
transformation.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the whole thing with, so she works her whole life, and she was those were supposed to be for her. Octavia was supposed to get the super strength and be invisible, but then I guess she just becomes invisible and she has a taser. Correct? That's basically
It's so unoriginal. They came up with Invisible Woman and Super Powered Girl. It's like, wow, that's so cool. Never seen these ones before. These powers before. Ooh.
Yeah, and they're called miscreants, super powered miscreants.
Right.
Okay, so what happens after Melissa McCarthy gets these powers? This is the thing that it disgusted me. It wasn't funny, but she gets these cravings for raw chicken, and in multiple scenes, they end up showing her just devouring raw chicken. Like
that's right. I forgot about that.
And they do close-up shots of her mouth chewing, and it goes on. It goes on for like 30 seconds. That's all you see is just raw chicken in her mouth. Like,
everyone in the chat, this movie sucks.
It sucks so bad.
Don't watch it.
Even the special effects are terrible and unbelievable. Like they're not even well done. It's like that 2008 movie had probably had better special effects than this. It just wasn't. When they're doing their laser zaps or the explosions, they just weren't well done at all.
What was that film from a couple of maybe 20 years now? Ben Stiller was one of the heroes.
I know what you're talking about. Mystery Men. Yeah.
Mystery Men. Yeah.
That was interesting.
That one did it way better.
Yeah, it was way better.
Yeah.
It
was a misfit crew that got thrown together, and it was interesting. Interesting characters, interesting different powers. Even though some of them were pretty disgusting, like one of them I think had farting power. Of course, he pulled his finger and he killed everybody with the smell.
Yeah,
that was Pee Wee Herman's role, wasn't it? If I remember right. But anyway, the bowling ball guy was awesome with the skull in it, or the chick.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool too. These are different things that keep you engaged, that makes you interested in what their character is.
Right.
This was so bland. I'm going to sit in the chair, get stabbed with superpowers, and then I'm going to go fight these just random bad guys that just happen to be taking over my town. It's so boring.
And going back to the Hollywood, the way Hollywood works, it's like, Melissa gets her hubby to write and direct, and then her best friend Octavia to star in it. It's like, write something badass for these people. Write something like interesting, and not just like not
like this. You give Justin Bateman crab arms.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best you could come up with.
Right.
I mean, the one scene that I thought was kind of clever was when they're out at the restaurant and they're ordering food, and the waiter comes over to tell like the specials and starts talking about crab and shellfish, and he starts freaking out because he's part crab. There was
that was funny. Yeah.
I mean,
and the main bad guy,
on,
hiding his superpower thing was still. I think he was trying to do it well, but of course we all kind of knew it through the whole movie anyway. Wink, wink. So it didn't work. But I'm not even sure that I recognize the actor who played the mayor guy, the main baddie or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought he was okay, as far as his acting ability, but he just wasn't given anything with real context.
No, that's Bobby Cavanaugh. He's a really good actor. He's just he's never given anything really juicy to do. In a lot of the films that he's cast in,
sucks.
And I wish I knew the production money on this. It'd be interesting.
The one scene I actually think was funny is when Bobby. Sorry, how do you say his last name?
Cavanaugh.
Okay, when
Cavagnale, whatever.
When he starts killing his own henchmen, he's like, kill this guy because they failed, and they end up killing the good henchmen. And they're left over with this lame guy that starts trying to explain his name. He's like, oh, my friends call me Andrew, but I think it's more professional if you call me this. And he's like, okay, next time kill this guy. You know, I had a little chuckle there, just a little one, and then it went back to being painful, and I want to scoop my eyes out with a rusty spoon.
Hey,
Yeah.
great news! Keep that rusty spoon around because it kind of made it feel like there's going to be a sequel too. You know,
Oh,
no.
there's first two.
No.
Sure. Now we're gonna have
Oh.
I don't know, feminist dildo Chuck's woman or something. I mean, there's.
Oh my God.
I honestly think this is McCarthy phoning it in, getting a paycheck. Netflix needed something new to throw up, literally throw up onto their network to try and be relevant, and this is what we got. Yuck, but I can't. I'm looking forward to Mortal Kombat. I'm hoping at least that's going to be something halfway decent coming out soon. Because it's just terrible that there's not a whole lot to watch out there. I did hear kind of a good review on what's the other one that was just the Damage guy. Damage, I think it was called or something. The guy getting beat up. Kind of the John Wick storyline.
Oh, Nobody.
Nobody, the poly guy.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
I saw that in the theater a couple weeks ago.
All right. I have to check that out. So there's stuff out there to watch, people. Don't watch this shit.
No. No, I actually have a couple of movies I have that to recommend, and what's on Netflix I highly recommend is Synchronic with Anthony Mackie.
Oh,
fantastic film. Oh wow.
Synchronic. Okay.
Synchronic. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit of time travel, a little bit of supernatural, a little bit of weirdness. Done. Great project for Anthony Mackie. Great, and it's just a great payoff. I don't know if anyone's seen it in the chat. I highly recommend that and Nobody.
Okay, well, at least there's a couple good things out there, you know, because I think we've all been really craving just fun movies again.
Yeah, you know? I'm seeing in the chat, somebody said they saw Mortal Kombat and it was bad. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Probably because Johnny Cage isn't in it. You know, I've seen a red flag with that right away. I wonder if that was what it was.
Okay, has it been released? Like I didn't, or did they get to see it early?
Maybe he's in a different country where it got released earlier, possibly. I'm not sure. Not sure how that works. What about in the chat? He's talking about it, but damn it, you know, there is stuff out there to watch, though. There's going to be more independent films, I think, that are really going to start shining or have a chance to shine because there's not as much competition out there.
Yeah. I think basically because people are so sick of what's coming out of Hollywood, you'll see a real surge of independent films. And I really hope we see that because we need things that are better without any type of agenda shoved into it. Just give us something fun again, please.
I hate to bring, be taboo and bring up a Latin movie, but we were talking about this the other night, Polly. Blood In, Blood Out was a low-budget movie of a bunch of undernamed actors that nobody knew that got thrown together and made some magic for next to nothing with amazing storytelling and amazing characters. You can do it. You can give us a gem of a movie for next to nothing when the right talents and the right creative people get put together. Go check out Blood In, Blood Out. See a movie that was low budget that turned into something that I feel was probably one of, if not the best movie of that year, maybe even the decade, with just the storytelling and everything behind it. We need more of movies like that, and we can make them. There is lots of stories still yet to be told, people, and not the same old shit over and over again.
I mean, and then speaking of Blood In, Blood Out, we're gonna have this independent director, Kenneth Castillo, on the show this week, and he did a movie called Counterpunch. I haven't seen it. I'm gonna see this weekend, but it's starring Danny Trejo. It's like these guys are doing it independently, man. They're machete. So they're people are trying to get their movies out there.
Amen.
Yeah, man. But geez,
we just have to hope that people go to support it. As I do wonder how they're going to be able to get to see some of these movies. They don't have, some of them don't go through the traditional method, so the customer has to go and find them rather than picking up at the movie theater. Although on the flip side, all the big studios have really screwed over the theater system, so they might be more willing in order to pick up some of the smaller ones and put it on the films, just because they don't care about the big studios. The big studios don't care about them. They're just putting on a streaming service, so they don't have anything fresh.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. Are you guys horror movie fans at all, or no?
Yeah. I watch a little bit of everything.
Okay. Well, every once in a while, a gem comes out in the horror genres. Like, I really liked Sinister. It came out a few years ago. That one caught me by surprise as kind of one of those out of the dark ones. Bloomhouse hits or miss. You might get one once in a while, but I do love the fact that, and I've touched on this in a couple of my videos, but they got John Carpenter back involved with Halloween again. Whether you love it or not, with the whole way they're going with the story now, at least they're trying. They're bringing back in the right people to bring context to the movie. So you got John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis back involved with the Halloween movies. I guess the next two are supposed to be pretty dynamite, so I'm keeping hope alive for those. And John Carpenter's also involved with a possible Thing prequel, or not prequel, sequel. I hope not reboot, but we'll see. But as long as he's involved, I guess Blumhouse is doing it the right way. It goes to show that there is people out there that are starting to listen to the fans and starting to understand that if they don't start giving what we want, they're not going to make the money to continue to do what they love to do. Yeah, so keep hope alive, my friends. Keep hope.
Yeah, I know with Blumhouse, it's one of those studios, they started off so well, but they've picked up a couple really, really bad movies lately that are hard to get behind. What was it? Hush. Okay, that was a fantastic one. I just loved. And Blumhouse put that out, but then they go and do something like, did they do the reboot of A Black Christmas?
I can't remember. Maybe they did the Valentine's Day one. I think they did they've hit just about every holiday. I think because they got Halloween now, so probably. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a couple major stinkers. I'm trying to remember which ones.
I try to avoid the stinkers. As soon as I hear about them, I'm like, no thanks.
Oh yeah, okay, like Truth or Dare. Man, okay, that was just miserable. That hurt to watch, and I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know how those guys that were able to pick out these gems okayed this movie and wanted to put it out, and unless they just had nothing and like, okay, we need to get something out there, so do this.
Right. And like I said, hit or miss. Happy Death Day. Did you guys see that one?
I did not.
I saw both. Any good?
Yeah, I love the first one. I never watched the second one. The first one was great. It was clever, well written, engaging, just a fun movie. So every once in a while they could come up with something pretty good. So I've always been a horror fan. I'm kind of have been since I was a kid. Granted, the 80s and 90s were probably the golden era of some of the best horror movies ever made. But there is still a generation of people out there that appreciate good horror. They're starting to bring back practical effects. They stop leaning so much on the CGI garbage, and that's where the real grit is. And I feel CGI still to this day isn't quite where it needs to be to make you feel texture and the realness of creatures and monsters and stuff like that in our horror movies. So they're getting back to their roots again. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that at least horror and sci-fi and fantasy can continue to entertain, because we can have imagination there still. These other genres like comedy and drama, fortunately, those are really starting to get taken over by the woke side. But there's a woke side in everything too, man. It's in all of it.
Yeah,
But I'm
but
getting
that
off topic.
the second, yeah, I know the second Happy Death Day 2, it started off, pretty decent, and I thought they started to make it give this, fresh take on what was happening. But then it absolutely falls apart and it becomes miserable. Like, I didn't want to watch it. I wanted to turn it off. But the start had me interested in the way that they were going to set it up. But then they have so many strings that they just don't answer. And I don't know if they were rushed writing the script or if they had a whole bunch of cuts, but it doesn't make any sense by the end. It's terrible.
It's hard to catch lightning in a bottle twice. Only few have done it. So it's rare to catch a sequel of a good horror movie and have it deliver, especially as well as the first one hit you if it was a good one. So that's the
thing. That's the thing I thought was starting to be good at the beginning. It hooked me. Like it genuinely hooked me. It offered a little bit of a different take, and then everything that was interesting at the beginning just wasn't relevant, wasn't discussed. They just left it, and you have no idea why or what happened. They completely leave all of those interesting aspects out of the movie.
There's only one man that I know out there that can come in and make a better sequel than on top of an already amazing original movie. And that is the man, James Cameron. He's done it with Aliens. He did it with Terminator. And until you hit those kind of levels with your sequels, chances are you're just going to disappoint your audience, especially if you set them up with a great original movie. You're just handing them disappointment almost every time. So it's rare for me to even watch a sequel unless the storyline or trailer really grabs my interest, because usually that's all I got to watch is like a horror movie sequel comes out and it's like, I see in their chat there, Train to Busan 2. First one was amazing. Saw the trailer to that second one. I was like, no thanks.
Well, yeah, because they took that first one and they tried to go into an action movie, and that's not why the first was. That's not what people liked about the first. It was a very touching story. Like it by the end, if you're not like hurting inside, like ready to cry, you've got no heart or soul, because it just rips it out.
Yeah, it's a journey. You go through a hell of a journey on that first one.
Yeah, they're rarely really better than the original. I think Del Toro's Blade was better than the first one.
Yeah, that's a very rare thing.
It can be done, but it's very rare.
Yeah,
Spielberg pulled it off with Crusade. I think it was better than Temple of Doom, but that's to be debated. And Star Wars, obviously.
You get some people that'll argue that Doom was their favorite.
See, I'd always argue that Empire is better than the original Star Wars. So it is. You gotta. It depends on the eye of the beholder too. Of course, like a lot of people would argue with me, Alien is better than Aliens, but I'll always say no, Aliens is a better movie. But yeah, it's James Cameron, I think, is one of the few that can pull it off. I didn't like Avatar personally, but hopefully the second one is better.
Man, I don't know. I don't know about that one, especially because it's taken so long since the original dropped.
Right.
Like, what are we? It's over a decade, probably long, like 20, I don't know.
12 years, I think, next
12
year.
years?
12 years. Yeah, it's
That's
11
a long
years
time.
now. Came out 2010, I believe. 9 or 10.
And I think one of the reasons why the first was so successful is because it was kind of that first step into a well-done visual spectacle.
Yeah, the word of mouth that got around for, you got to see this in 3D, man, I think helped kind of boost the sales on that thing, because I personally thought it was just Ferngully on steroids. So
Yeah, it really was. And now we've had a bunch of movies, basically every single Marvel movie is the same thing. It's all the visual spectacle.
Yeah.
So are people actually going to go back to Avatar if that was the only thing that would, kind of kept it going? That's what brought people in, because at the time, yeah, we didn't really see something like that.
The only thing I can think of is he's planning something new. Whether it's the whole what do they call it, 4D experience, where it's at Disneyland and Disney World, where your chair gets to shake and water gets spritzed on you, and that's kind of cool. There's a cool possible ideology for that and that technology, maybe where the theater shifts a bit, but you're gonna have custom theaters built for that kind of experience. So I don't know exactly what he could bring new that could wow people like he did with the whole 3D experience. But he's James Cameron, so if
Well,
anybody could pull it off, he could.
and there's 5 movies,
Oh God, I hated the first one, so
well, that's
I'm
what
not
they're
looking forward
doing.
to that.
That's why he's been gone for so long. He's just
I
been
know.
filming back to back to back. And I think he developed a whole bunch of different technology, and then went to the bottom of the sea for the movie. That was something
Yeah.
he did. It had
Yeah. That's what he did with Titanic. He was so involved with that movie that before and after making the movie, he stayed very involved with it. Kept diving back down to the Titanic. So he's a devoted filmmaker. That's what I do love about him.
That's the thing that I think could save it, because he
Right.
really does care.
Yep.
When he does go into a movie, I guess
So much so that he actually, a lot of actors say he's kind of a jerk. He's kind of an ass. If you go and look up stuff about The Abyss and what happened like behind the scenes with all the actors on that movie, you hear some horror stories about how nasty James Cameron can be. But that's how you get good movies, though. You push your actors to the limit. Same with Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick would push his actors to the limit, but that created some amazing movie moments that are classics in time. So it's always kind of good to have a nice asshole in the director's chair once in a while, because that's when we get some good stuff.
I know Tom thinks we're giving him way too much credit. James Cameron.
Well, maybe these days. But like
Well,
I said, there
these
ain't a
days,
whole lot out there.
he signed off on Dark Fate.
True. Yeah, and he's also backed up the last couple Terminator sequels, but I think he got some money paid to him to do that.
Don't be a hater, Tom.
No, but Cameron does deserve some criticism for allowing Dark Fate to go forward, because he signed off on it and said, oh yeah, this is a good thing in the franchise, and we all know that is not. There is no way you can call that a Terminator movie. It was garbage, just hot garbage.
Hey, even Van Gogh and all those guys probably had a couple crap paintings they threw in the trash after they thought it was a nice one. It's just they're not going to hit every time, but there's only a few directors out there that could even pull off a better sequel than the original movie, and there ain't very many of them left that I've seen. Del Toro is one of them, and Spielberg, Cameron. Who else do you know that's gave us amazing sequels? What's their name that did the Avengers movie, Civil War? The Feige, is it Feige that did those?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a few select directors out there that can continue stories and make them great, but there's just so few and far between. So it's tough to get a good sequel these days. It really is.
Oh yeah, but it also seems like that comes in when they're a bit hungrier in their career. Like all these guys are kind of comfortable now, and now we start seeing a little bit different from it starts to go downhill, because they're not as concerned. They're not as worried about basically getting fired or the boot, what their next movie will be, because they got a big name now. So they've already got it set up, 10 years down the line.
Right. And, these other movies that are coming out, like Mortal Kombat, even though they're not sequels, it still feels like sequels to some of us, because everything's got to be a progression of whatever the last storyline is. So if you're making a remake, okay, let's do it again. But at the same time, I want to come in and see something new, something different. So is it really a remake, or is it just a sequel, a sequential of what has already been done before? And that's probably the whole problem with sequels in whole, and people trying to Hollywood trying to bank off of sequels, and we got to get back to just making original stories and coming up with new and amazing tales to give to the people, because sequels and building off of the past that worked, whatever worked in the past is not the way to go, folks. It's just not. And here we are again. Here's another Mortal Kombat, and here's another Avatar, and here's another Terminator, and here's another this, and we need new stories. They're just not out there, though. We haven't really got it yet, except maybe in the independents, like people that we associate with. We might be streaming one day with a future storyteller that just happened to give out the next Star Wars lore. But we're due. We're due for something great. Man, we haven't had much in a while. The Avengers, I think, is the closest thing we've had in the last 10 years of great storytelling, well put together with sequels. And we may never get something like that again for a long time, especially with the way Hollywood's going.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, no, that's true, man. It's that was an incredible run they had.
Yeah.
And even then they ran out of steam towards the last couple of movies with Thor Ragnarok and
have you seen the new
Shame
Falcon
Game.
Winter Soldier, guys? Ooh.
I have. Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this week's episode, but
I love those characters, but oh god.
I love those actors. I'm a big Anthony Mackie fan.
Yeah.
I just wish they would write for him. It's like, you guys, yeah, man. But I gotta run. And get
You're
ready.
leaving us, Polly? Oh no.
Oh no.
Say it's not so.
We kind of got off of the bad movie thing because I think we're so sick of both of them.
They're terrible. You picked some horrible ones this week, Yeti. I appreciate it.
I mean, they really were. Really, stay away from both these movies, people.
Oh, yeah.
Not
don't
even
give
as
up
a
on
film
Brian
fan.
Henson. Don't give up on Brian Henson.
No.
There's something still there with the puppets. That's what I got to take from it. So if I have to recommend a movie to somebody, it's going to be the puppet movie, obviously, for obvious reasons. But the other one, I wouldn't wish that freaking Thunder Force on my worst enemy. No.
Well, you just answered the question I always ask: is what movie would you watch again, and which one would you use to lose friends by? You just answered that question.
Oh, okay. Well, there it is. Yeah.
What would your picks be, Paulie?
I would make a Tom from Midnight's Edge watch Thunder Thighs. And I'm just kidding, Tom. You know I love you. Yeah, man. Definitely you lose friends with Thunder Force. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you will. And I have Latino Slant's link to his channel in the description. I'll also put it in here. Make sure that you are subscribed to him because he puts out some amazing content.
Thank you, man. Yeah, gonna go spend time this afternoon, the small little membership stream, and that'll be our first time ever.
Oh, nice.
So
okay,
nice.
Gonna go take the dogs out and get ready for that. But dude, Sno Dub, thanks for coming back and making this happen. Sorry,
definitely.
Sorry again for last week.
It's all good, brother. It was a pleasure hanging out with you guys. A lot of fun.
Yeti, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Peace, everyone. Peace.
See you later, Paulie.
Tuck and roll.
So I guess the question is, do you want to keep talking about some of these movies or start to close out?
I got a few things I got to do still before I get ready for my big show tonight. The Tuck and Roll show. We're doing movie trivia tonight. Hey, Tom, if you want to stop by, I could use an extra contender, by the way. And A lot of fun. A lot of fun. We do. It's kind of like a Jeopardy style. Culture Casino's been in it. He's unfortunately lost every time he's done it, but yeah, a lot of big names pop in and kind of test their trivia luck. But I actually need to do some homework and work on those. But
Okay, so I
go
can
ahead,
start to
Eddie.
close it out. Yeah,
For sure.
and we kind of got past the subject. I was just enjoying talking movies.
Yes, me too. I can get on a tangent too, especially with this whole sequel analogy.
So just as I start to say bye, just know I just want to mention that I've got a whole bunch of new shirts up on my Teespring store. So check those out because there's a couple of really amazing designs. I think I must have added 10 new shirts out in there. So check that out and make sure you go subscribe to Sno Dub as well. His link is in the description. I will also copy it and put it in here. But thank you very much for coming by.
Oh no, much love, brother. I'm sorry I missed last week. That sounded like a great conversation too with Tom and talking about Spawn and Mario Brothers. But this was a good one as well because it was right up my alley with the puppets and so I figured that you nailed it that time. And if you ever want me back, man, I enjoy talking about terrible movies because it helps people understand and appreciate the good ones.
Exactly. Yeah. That's I think why we started this. And I think that's a good way to go out. So thank you everyone in the chat. Love all you guys. Thanks for sticking around with us. And we will see you guys next week.